Now at 9, Joplin residents unite at the second annual Community Fest. Plus, Pittsburgh firefighters host an open house for National Fire Prevention Week. And Columbus Day Festival's hot air balloons light up the morning sky.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Lily Snowy. Today, the Higher Society organization hosted their second annual Community Fest to bring Joplin residents together. The event was held in Landreth Park. KOAM's Jasmine Knight was there and has the story.
Landreth Park was filled with hundreds of people having a great time. All around, there were people riding scooters, blowing bubbles, and enjoying delicious food and even more.
So Community Fest is our effort to continue the community vibe within the Joplin area. We just wanted an opportunity for individuals to come out and listen to live music, have access to food, and just join each other as a community.
Some of the other activities included live music, classic cars, food trucks, bouncy houses, and games.
So last year they had about 1,200 show up. It was during a little bit hotter time of the summer, so we're really hoping that we can at least double that and really bring out as many of the community that want to come out and enjoy the event and enjoy the music and come watch the Chiefs game and enjoy some great food.
Community Fest is hosted every year by the Higher Society. They are a nonprofit that specializes in positive change in Joplin. They host various personal wellness, community involvement, and business events.
And in doing so, we have our community cleanup efforts. On Sunday mornings, we go downtown and surrounding areas and pick up the litter that is left behind by others. We also have a mission of working towards creating a shelter in the Joplin area that is similar to a safe haven shelter, meaning you don't have to have certain stipulations, you don't have to go to church, you don't have to do work, all of that kind of stuff.
For business owners, Community Fest is a great way for them to get to know the community that they serve.
For real, it's for the kids. Kids getting older, we got 2 and 1 on the way, so
if you want to have some of the best sweets and treats, or even just hang out and have a great time, check out Joplin's Community Fest. Reporting in Joplin, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
The event was free for the public to attend. The Columbus Day Festival's hot air balloon regatta lit up the October sky this morning with around 20 balloons from all over the area taking off. Events have been happening all weekend. It's a chance for community members all around the area to come and enjoy fall festivities and all the hot air balloon action.
The people you meet as you're doing the event is always fun, and then flying in new places, so we're always looking for new places new communities and new events to go to, but we also love coming back to our old favorite ones like this one.
This was the last regatta of the festival. Each balloon and pilot was sponsored by the Columbus Chamber of Commerce and other area sponsors. The Pittsburgh Fire Department held an open house today for Fire Prevention Week. The purpose of the open house is to educate the community on fire safety through activities and discussion. Fire Prevention Week is officially October 8th through the 14th. However, the Pittsburgh Fire Department will be raising awareness for the entire month of October.
All right, so as we get into October, which is Fire Prevention Month, we get out to the schools, we get out just to bring awareness for fire prevention, to prevent the emergencies that we respond to.
The Pittsburgh Fire Department conducted fire safety talks at area schools leading up to National Fire Prevention Week. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for a first look at weather.
It was a beautiful day out there today with lots of sunshine, light winds, and temperatures ranging from the low 70s to the east and mid 80s out toward the west, like Fredonia with 84 for the afternoon high, 82 in Chanute as well as Yates Center. Temperatures are still mild right now, generally in the mid 60s across the area on east to southeast winds. Radar is all clear, so we're not going to really focus a lot of time on that. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 50s tonight, down to about 46 by tomorrow morning. So if you head out to school with the kiddos, we're looking at a temperature of around 47 degrees, so might need a light jacket tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, they definitely don't need the jacket, with a high of around 72 degrees, around 70 by the time they come home. And looking down the lane, we're going to have a beautiful Monday. A dry front will be dropping down late tonight and tomorrow morning. Breezy conditions on Tuesday and very windy on Wednesday, with a big storm system coming in behind that. And I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit.
Thanks, Sam. Some farmers got some help from the state of Missouri to get through the drought and recent heat. Chris Bryant checks in to see how the hay and water program took some pressure off producers in Dadeville.
1,500 acres were made available across the state to help farmers take advantage of some much needed relief to help get through the summer months.
Despite the drought, some farmers remain positive.
See the light at the end of the tunnel that comes. Again, we're seeing that right now with calf prices, and good Lord will send rain.
Josh Worthington's sign on his land in Dade County carries a message of eat beef, pray for rain. Producers and farmers are doing just that, praying.
This isn't the first time that we've seen dry conditions. It's never fun when we experience it, but it's not the first time. And whether it be different programs through Farm Service Agency or things like that, there are some programs to help offset some of the high input costs.
One such program was hay and water assistance from the Department of Conservation and the Department of Natural Resources. Jake Bunkston says the continuation of the drought last year added to the need this year.
What made this drought in particular a little bit worse was because of when it hit, hitting in that springtime when farmers are trying to get those fields ready for haying. It hit at a different time that the last drought hit.
While some farmers choose to sell their herds of cattle, for others it's a learning experience.
People be much more cognizant of what can happen in a drought and how to better take care of their land and their livestock to withstand some of these challenges.
One way some farmers are working to combat future droughts is to plant a more heat-resistant grass for hay.
So transitioning to maybe more of a warm season native grass. I've been hearing a lot of discussion about that, especially in the drought assistance or the drought advisory committee. As we kind of talk about that, I'm hearing that mentioned more and more.
Regardless of if you are a new farmer or a third-generation farmer, farmers will work to continue feeding the people of Missouri and keep a positive outlook.
At the end of the day, we know it'll rain, and we try and make sure that we keep as much extra pasture as we can in these times. So yeah, I think there's bright futures ahead. We all see it coming.
Later, gratuity may have reached its tipping point. After 4 heart attacks and 3 heart surgeries, a Modesto, California teacher is finally leaving the hospital with a brand new heart. At just 27 years old, Nicole Clement Crook has already lived many lives, and now she has a brand new outlook on the rest of hers. Riley Carroll brings us her story.
At 27 years old, Nicole Clement Crook has already suffered 4 heart attacks and now 3 heart surgeries.
It is unusual in the fact that she was so sick, and her heart had actually stopped 4 times. And it was just a miracle of modern medicine that we're able to kind of rescue her and bring her back.
Dr. Kincaid is Nicole's surgeon. He says he was happy to take on her case, that his team at Sutter was ready.
Interestingly, she was turned down by a number of other hospitals as being too complicated.
After 2 heart pumps, Nicole went home and waited until she was strong enough for 1 more surgery.
I don't think I really processed it until I was home on the batteries. I think that was the hardest part, just being home and not having a community to speak to and be with, and it was during COVID, so that was even more challenging.
Eventually, Nicole was ready for a full heart transplant.
And then it came time to like, hey, do you want to live your life with a heart pump, or should we give you a heart transplant? And it was an easy decision for her. She's so young and healthy.
Throughout her health journey, her 6th grade students have been by her side.
Yeah, they're like, I don't have a heartbeat, I don't have a pulse, and they thought that was just the coolest thing. And I would go out and do PE with them and run the mile with them and do all these things. So I just really tried to make it so like disabilities cannot hold you back, because I have kids with disabilities.
Nicole says she'll get back into the classroom just as soon as her immune system is a little stronger.
Their kids are germy. Yeah, I'll go back next year. So I'm very excited. I'm already counting the days.
An event was held in Michigan to break down any stigmas that might be attached to mental health conditions and people looking for help. It's called the Out of the Darkness Community Walk. As Scott Wolchek shows us, it's really about showing people they're not alone.
Support, hope, and remembrance. The Out of the Darkness Community Walk empowers others to talk about mental health and suicide awareness.
I lost my sister to suicide a couple years ago, and it's just an amazing way to connect with people who may have unique stories, but we have a unifying passion for support, and it can really be solace from the things we go through, but also a testament to those that we have lost.
While the topic can be hard to talk about, it's important to normalize the conversation, raise awareness, and show that people are here to help. Being surrounded by others who may understand what you're going through or have experienced can help the healing process.
I've had a hug today. Somebody actually asked me, could they hug me based upon the color of beads that I had on, and so that was a really good experience.
An important part of this event are these honor beads here, and these really represent your reason why. This dark blue bead here represents awareness for suicide prevention and support, and this lighter one even means that you may have a friend or family member who has attempted.
It's an instant connection when you walk around, you see people that have on the same color beads that you have, or you see and you walk past the signs and you just read what each color is. And so when you see those, you're able to identify with people and understand, oh, I get it. I know what they are. I feel what they feel.
And if you or someone you know is in crisis or just needs somebody to talk to, there is always help available. You can call or text 988 to speak confidentially with a trained counselor like Ariel.
Your voice needs to be heard, and there are people that want to listen. I tell you, 100% all our crisis specialists, they are engulfed in the work that they do, and they're very compassionate, and they just want to be able to provide that support because we know a lot of people don't have it.
But that support is there. Hope and healing are just a text or phone call away.
Meteorologist Sam Lane is next with a complete look at the forecast and how the UAW strike is impacting the price of steel.
Well, friends, it was a perfect day weather-wise across the area. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures, light winds. Just gorgeous out there, and it looks like it's going to be sticking around for just a little bit longer. Let's take a look outside right now at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Things are looking pretty nice and calm down there as well, and we're going to see temperatures dropping into the 40s by later on tonight. We made it up to 75 today for the high, starting out at 43, which was kind of chilly, but below normal. 51 is the normal low, and we were right on target for the high, though. And of course, we're way behind on the rainfall still at this time. Temperatures right now are generally very mild, generally in the mid 60s across the area. Notice the winds are back out of the south and west, but up to the north, the winds are turning around to the north behind a dry front that's sinking down from that direction. And as we go through the overnight hours, that front will make its way through our area, turning our winds around. We'll see temperatures dropping down into the mid 40s by tonight. And then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, that front will sail to the south, but we're still going to be in the 70s, generally low 70s across the area with northerly winds. Then as we go into Tuesday morning, the winds are going to turn back around to the east and we'll see lows in the 40s. And then in the afternoon, we'll see some clouds moving in from the west with highs in the mid to upper 70s and even some low 80s down in Oklahoma and breezy conditions. Then as we go into Wednesday morning, showers and thunderstorms may develop way up to the north and east, with lows generally in the mid 60s with strong south winds on Wednesday. How strong? Well, let's take a look at the winds, because tomorrow we'll see winds gusting up to maybe 30 miles per hour with that frontal passage. Then as we go into Tuesday, winds may be gusting up close to 40 miles per hour at times. But then as we go into Wednesday, we're going to see winds steadily blowing at about 25 to 30 miles per hour with higher gusts on Wednesday, especially Wednesday night ahead of this big storm system. We already have one big storm system over the Great Lakes that's moving away, but this is the one that's going to be impacting us on Thursday. By the time we go into Wednesday, it'll be crossing the mountains, and then on Thursday, it's going to be coming into our area. The thing about this system, there's several factors that we're looking at. Some of the factors are favorable for severe weather, other factors are not. And I'm not going to get into all the complicated part of that, but we're just going to keep an eye on it. So be staying tuned as we go into Thursday, as that threat of severe weather is there. Let's take a look at the precipitation forecast. We're not expecting a whole lot from that system, especially the GFS model. It's saying the best chance of the rain with that system is going to be up to the north. But again, some areas will see some rainfall. Let's take a look at the next 7 days. We're going to be breezy on Tuesday, downright windy on Wednesday with a high of 81. And then the storms on Thursday, cooling off on Friday and into Saturday with temperatures in the 60s and lows in the 40s. So A lot to be talking about this week weather-wise, and of course we'll keep everyone informed on Thursday, especially with that threat of severe weather.
Absolutely. What it was a gorgeous day today.
Oh, it was perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thanks, Sam. Coming up, the latest on the Hamas attacks in Israel.
More bloodshed in Israel after yesterday's surprise attack by Hamas. I'm Trey Yingst in southern Israel. I've got the details coming up.
The United Auto Workers strike is having ripple effects, and it's hitting a major industry supplier. Steel is seeing a big drop in demand, and with it, prices as well. A Wall Street Journal report says the UAW strike has caused demand to fall way off because enough cars aren't being made. Market prices for coiled steel have plummeted 40% since April. One company, Cleveland Cliffs, has tried to set a $750 a ton minimum charge to halt the skid. Standard & Poor's says the strike has sidelined production of 6,030 vehicles a day. About 17% of UAW workers are on strike. Two more car companies say they will start using Tesla charging stations for their electric vehicles. Hyundai and Kia announced Tesla's charging technology will be adopted for their EVs in the U.S. starting next year. The manufacturers joined Ford, General Motors, and Nissan in adopting Tesla's North American chargers. In another step toward potentially making it the industry standard, Hyundai and Kia say new EVs will have a Tesla charging port starting in the fourth quarter of 2024, while owners of current EVs can receive an adapter for the Tesla port starting in 2025. Traditionally, 15% was an average tip, with 20% for excellent service. Now, the suggested tips on many restaurant bills include 22%, 25%, and even 30%. As Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri reports, it's a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
You can thank or blame the pandemic. It had a huge impact on how we look at tipping. Restaurants became essential services, but tipping expanded beyond waitstaff to include workers who came to our homes to deliver packages or repair our appliances.
It became a combat pay, and it was much more frequent for anybody that had public contact.
You've probably noticed tipflation. Many touchscreens suggest tips as high as 25, even 30%.
I definitely am between like 20 and 25 is my average amount that I tip. And I can get swayed to go to like 25 or even higher if someone is like offering great service.
It's a reason for us maybe not to go into a restaurant because, I mean, you have to pay taxes and these high tips.
I just tip the same. Like 20% generally.
During the pandemic, some restaurants added a service charge to protect and retain employees. But an owner and server from separate restaurants tell me in the U.S., tip included gets mixed reviews.
After pandemic, we heard loud and clear from customers that they like the freedom of choice. They don't like to be told the mandate how much it should be.
Without tipping culture, without this idea of tipping, then yeah, sure, maybe I'm guaranteed more money, but maybe I'm also guaranteed less customers. You never know.
Restaurant servers I spoke with say a 20% tip is the gold standard. Anything more is not expected, but appreciated if you want to reward someone who goes above and beyond. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Up next, a new documentary highlights a young man with cerebral palsy. A new film called Your Friend Memphis spotlights a young man with cerebral palsy and his determination to defy expectations in reaching his goals in his life, career, and love. The project is the first feature for the director of the film, who met Memphis on a film set and was inspired to take this 5-year journey with him. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with more.
Can you believe it? We just had a kid.
The documentary Your Friend Memphis brings a story of defying expectations and following your dreams. It's director David P. Zucker's first feature. He first met Memphis on a film set in 2015.
And he had this like really kind of exuberant energy that was just unlike people who I typically had in my life. And a few nights in, he was sort of let go in front of the cast and crew of this film. It was a really uncomfortable experience for me. And so I ended up reaching out to him afterwards to kind of reconnect. He told me that he had been vlogging at that point for the better part of a decade about his daily experiences trying to make it in film and as a person with cerebral palsy, and just sort of like to be able to share his story.
That's when the 5-year project began. Zucker discussed the perspective he hopes it brings.
Memphis is a person who has a disability, and I think a lot of times we have preconceived notions about what someone like Memphis can and can't do. My goal with the film was to demonstrate that someone like Memphis is experiencing all the same things, the challenging pursuit of love, to pursue your dreams in your career.
He appreciated how open Memphis was.
Memphis is a really courageous person who believes that sharing the intimate details of your life are what can connect you with someone else and help them through a difficult time.
Can't have a story without conflict. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. And coming up, the latest on the Hamas attacks on Israel, plus the Pope's remarks. The total death toll climbing in Israel and Gaza after yesterday's surprise attack by Hamas. Fox News correspondent Trey Ginks has the story from Israel.
Israel officially at war. The declaration coming after Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel, firing thousands of rockets and sending hundreds of fighters from the Gaza Strip.
We will not forget. Hamas terrorists target Israeli civilians. Israel will target Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists wherever they will be in Gaza.
The conflict only intensifying. The Lebanese militant group Hezbollah also joining the attacks, shelling along the northern border. The Israeli military firing back. Israeli officials say they are working to recover hostages who have been taken into Gaza, including children and families.
The assault isn't over. There continue to be very active fighting around Gaza. At the same time, we've seen more quiet in other parts of Israel, but there is intense fighting going on.
The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees reporting that more than 20,000 people are crowding into schools for shelter. The violence upending the lives of thousands of civilians, and the death tolls of Israelis and Palestinians are in the hundreds. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations condemning the bloodshed by Hamas.
I have seen shocking footage, graphic images that will forever be seared in my brain. What we are witnessing are war crimes, blatant, barbaric war crimes.
The Pentagon has directed ships and aircraft closer to Israel as a sign of support. In southern Israel, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for another look at the forecast.
It was such a pleasure today out there with lots of sunshine and warm temperatures. We saw highs in the low 70s to the east, mid 70s, and then into the low 80s out towards the west, like in Yates Center with 83 and 84 in Fredonia. Temperatures are now starting to fall into the 60s across the area, but still very mild for this time of year. We do have a weak boundary that's dropping down from the north, bringing with it a little bit of upper level moisture, but no moisture at the surface, so we're not expecting any precipitation. As we go through the overnight hours, temperatures dropping through the 50s to about 46 by tomorrow morning. And looking down the lane, we are going to have a dry front moving through late tonight and tomorrow morning. Then we're going to see breezy conditions on Tuesday, followed by a very windy Wednesday, and then a big storm system rolling through about Thursday. And we'll talk more about that in just a little while.
All right, thanks, Sam. Airlines pull back some flights headed to Israel after Saturday's deadly attacks against the country by Hamas. 3 U.S.-based airline carriers and at least 1 European airline canceled flights going to Tel Aviv this weekend after early Saturday morning rocket and other ground attacks killed at least 250 Israelis and injured about 1,500 others. Delta, American, and United all suspended flights Saturday night and Sunday night. From New York's JFK to Ben Gurion Airport, German carrier Lufthansa canceled several flights between Frankfurt and Tel Aviv. 80 flights and 14% of all Tel Aviv-bound flights were canceled. Pope Francis is expressing apprehension and pain over the ongoing fighting between Israel and Gaza militants. At his weekly address to the faithful in Vatican City, Francis said terrorism and war do not lead to any solution, but only to the death and suffering of many innocent people. He said war itself is a defeat. Hamas carried out a surprise attack on Israel early Saturday morning. That attack and Israelis' retaliatory actions have so far left more than 900 people dead, and the fighting continues. Still ahead, Brock Baldridge brings us Sunday NFL highlights, including the Chiefs' win over the Minnesota Vikings. And a wheelchair basketball clinic gets a donation.
We had a beautiful day across the four-state area with temperatures very, very nice for this time of year. Generally chilly in the mornings, but in the afternoons things have warmed up pretty nicely, and we're looking at wonderful conditions right now outside of Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Mostly fair skies, and we're going to see temperatures dropping down into the 40s by later on tonight. You can see across the area we have light and variable winds, generally in the mid-60s right now. 63 in Nevada, pick out your hometown, 63 in Iola, as well as Chanute, 66 in Neodesha. Rain chances are going to be pretty close to zero for the next 36 hours, but then they're going to be increasing as we go through the week into the forecast. We do have a dry front dropping down tonight. That's going to send temperatures down into the 40s by morning, maybe a few 50s here and there. Then tomorrow afternoon, with north winds, we're going to see highs in the low to mid 70s across the area, maybe some upper 60s up to the north. Then as we go into Tuesday morning, the winds are going to turn around to the east, with lows generally in the mid-40s. And then Tuesday afternoon, a few clouds passing by, but notice the winds are going to be coming up out of the south, and they're going to be breezy with highs in the low to mid-70s, even some upper 70s out towards the west. Then as we go into Wednesday morning, it's really going to be howling out of the south and southwest with winds gusting at around 20, 25 miles per hour in the morning, with lows in the 60s. And if we take a look, we have one big storm system on the east coast that's moving away slowly, but that's going to make room for this next big storm system that's going to drop right down into the plains. And right now we're looking at a severe weather threat potentially. There's lots of ingredients that we look at. One, instability. Instability is going to be weak. Another thing we look at is the winds aloft. And there's going to be very strong winds aloft, so we have that. Surface pressure is going to be very low, so we have that. But there's a lot of ingredients that are not quite coming all together. So we'll have to watch this very closely as we go into Thursday afternoon and evening. Then once that system passes us by, cold air drains in from the north and west, and we end up with a pretty chilly weekend, especially in the morning hours. Rainfall amounts are not expected to be all that great right now on the GFS model, but as we get closer to the event, we could see these rain amounts increasing as we get closer and closer to the forecast time. Here's a look at the forecast. For tomorrow, we're expecting a high of 72, then breezy on Tuesday, very windy on Wednesday with a high of 81. Then those storms come in on Thursday afternoon and evening. Some of those, again, could be strong or even severe. And then that system will pass us by, and then we'll drop down into the 60s for highs and lows in the 40s. And then as we head into next week, looking pretty nice with partly cloudy skies and pleasant temperatures. So Chamber of Commerce weather all around.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag this upcoming week.
Yeah, the only day I'm really concerned about is Thursday. That's the day that everyone needs to kind of be paying attention to the weather. And of course, if they haven't done so, they need to download the KOAM News app.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thanks, Sam. Coming up in sports, a softball commitment from a local Oklahoma high schooler. Plus, the Kansas City Chiefs shake off the Minnesota Vikings. We'll have the highlights when Brock Baldridge joins us next.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have won their last 3 games entering this Sunday. The Chiefs seem like they've bounced back after that opening night loss against Detroit and now have a shot at the Purple People Eaters. Taylor Swift did not show up for this Chiefs game. Darn. The Chiefs are in Minnesota taking on the Vikings. However, the Swifties were there for her absence. So in the game now, late first half, Chiefs driving down 13-10. Mahomes to Travis Kelce. He slips and is down with a non-contact injury. Take a look at the replay. Kelce gets caught by the turf monster there, and Kelce is in pain. Chiefs fans hoping it's not the worst case scenario. In the second half now, Kelce came out of the locker room and it looks like he's going to give it a try. So 3rd and goal, Chiefs lead 20-13. Mahomes to Travis Kelce. and that touchdown puts the Chiefs up 2 scores, 27-13 Kansas City leads. So in the fourth quarter now, with 5 seconds left in the game, Chiefs lead 27-20. No timeouts for Minnesota. Kirk Cousins takes the snap and looking to escape until he finds Mike Dana, who puts the hammer down, and that's the ball game. Chiefs hold on to beat the Vikings 27-20. Kansas City's first win in Minnesota since 1996.
The guys, they really played hard and aggressive as a team. I mean, there were some great individual efforts, but I thought overall just what a tremendous job. It was great to see our fans here. A lot of red in the lower bowl there, and we felt you.
I mean, obviously, all of it hurts, and if Travis is out of the game, it hurts. But I knew he was trying to get back in, and I feel like Travis has the same mindset as I do. You give him the window of like he can get back in the game, he's going to be back in the game. And so, competitor, man. That's why he's one of the greatest. Is that he'll battle through stuff like that and came back and made a lot of great catches for us.
Other NFL action happening around the league. Jets at Broncos. There's a little internal dispute between Sean Payton and Nathaniel Hackett over the summer. Should be interesting to see if any feud happens. But early in the second half, Denver leads 13-8, but Breece Hall finds an opening, takes it 72 yards for the touchdown. Jets get a Hall pass to the end zone. New York leads 15-13. Late in the fourth quarter now, Denver trails 24-13. Russell Wilson with the ball goes to his tight end Adam Troutman for the touchdown. One-score game. Jets still lead 24-21. Next Broncos possession. Russell Wilson trying to escape here, but he loses the football. New York picks it up and returns it for a touchdown. And there are some folks who are celebrating, others saying, "You gotta be kidding me." Jets beat the Broncos on the road 31-21. Well, the Miami War Dogs softball season came to an end on Thursday. However, it's not stopping the team from making any headlines. The Lady War Dogs have yet another one of their top players committed to play at the college level. Faith Lamons out of Miami, Oklahoma is set to continue her academic and athletic career to Upper Iowa University. Lamons is the reigning district defensive player of the year. The senior was second on the team this season with a 1.75 ERA. Now she gets a shot to play at the collegiate level. Well, the Major League Baseball postseason is in full swing. American League Divisional Series is now set after a frenzy of wild card games this past week. Day 2 of the American League Divisional Series between the Texas Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles. Texas beat Baltimore on Saturday night, and then they beat them once again on Sunday afternoon. 11-8 final score there. Texas is now only one win away from advancing to the American League Championship Series. Another game tonight in the American League Divisional Series. Houston Astros are hosting the Minnesota Twins. Astros were victorious in Game 1. So in Game 2, Minnesota is able to kind of cool off those Houston bats, but we're currently in the 7th inning in this one as Minnesota leads it 6-0. I know Taylor Swift was not at the game, Elise, and we kind of talked about before the break, but do we think it's a little much now?
It might be a little much, but I saw something. I saw the conspiracy theory that the Chiefs were going to lose to the Vikings today because Taylor Swift was their good luck charm.
Well,
doesn't look like it has anything to do with Taylor Swift. Sorry to all the Swifties out there.
Yeah, well, they still won. They got the job done. That's what matters.
Hopefully they can pull it through on Thursday Night Football against the Broncos. We'll be right back. Several adaptive children in New York are riding in style after getting custom-fit sports wheelchairs for free. Fox's Ashley Rodriguez has more.
10-year-old Eric Carmona and his dad drove all the way from Boston to be at the Hartford Wheelchair Basketball Clinic at Queens College Saturday.
I mainly just love basketball and I want to have fun. I want to have a fun time with all my wheelchair friends.
Eric, like many of the adaptive athletes on the court, was born with multiple neurological conditions and medical issues with both feet. It took 9 different procedures to get him to this point, and he's having the time of his life.
He's my inspiration. He's always been there for me, and I'm a completely different, better person because of my son.
While Eric and the other basketball players practice drills, their hearts pumping with adrenaline and glee.
Basketball is just one of my hobbies, and I literally want to be a basketball player when I grow up, and it's just so much fun.
5-time Paralympian and 2-time gold medalist Matt Scott was preparing a surprise. He helped give out 50 custom-fit sports wheelchairs that cost around $5,000 each, giving them away for free.
If you want to be an athlete that wants to play basketball, you get a pair of shoes and some basketball shorts, and you go play basketball. For a wheelchair basketball athlete, you need this specialized equipment, paying 15 times more at the price.
And there was another treat for the young athletes.
John Starks.
Former Knicks shooting guard John Starks walked onto the court. Starks not only supports the kids, the pro athlete is impressed.
They put me in, strapped me into a wheelchair, and it was very difficult. So I am amazed at what they can do on a basketball court. So very difficult game that I play standing up, and now they sitting and playing this game is just amazing.
The cost of adaptive sports equipment is a barrier, making the donated wheelchairs a blessing, both physically and, as you can tell by their big smiles, spiritually too.
The impact that we're going to have today is going to be generational.
Up next, a pair of shorts worn by a superstar might leave your wallet, well, short. A pair of short shorts might leave your wallet short for food and rent if you want to look like Taylor Swift. A pair of fashion denim shorts favored by pop icon Taylor Swift and worn by her at MetLife Stadium when she watched Kansas City Chiefs player Travis Kelce play has become a hot item going in and out of stock. The area brand shorts have diamond embellishments in the front and back, crystal cut appliques on the zipper, and front side pocket to spell the brand name. The worn look that could distress your wallet runs $795. If you're looking to splurge like Swifties, check out area.nyc, ModSense, Farfetch, List, or Nordstrom for availability.
I think it's going to be a little bit chilly for shorts.
It might be, actually, now that we think about it.
That's right. Although the middle part of this week, it's going to be warm enough with highs in the 80s by Wednesday, and also windy. And then, of course, that thunderstorm chance as we roll into Thursday. Some of those storms could be strong. We'll keep an eye on that. Then we turn cooler, certainly cool enough for shorts, or too cool for shorts as we head towards next weekend with Eclipse Day on Saturday with a high of 60 and a low of 40. And then we begin a slow warm up as we head into the early part of next week.
All right, thanks, Sam. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of a bear spotted on a boat in Naples Marina. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night.